What's up, guys? See you here, and B's behind the camera. Say hi.
Hi.
And today we're going to talk about the WWE pay-per-view Great Balls of Fire. Warning, this is a spoiler-filled review, so if you haven't seen it yet, somehow, it came out like a month ago, here's your warning. Also, B doesn't watch wrestling, so some of these terms and finishers will sound very stupid. So anyway, let's get started. The first thing we're going to talk about is the stage and the fact there's no opening pyro. Why was there no opening pyro or fireballs for the event? Because I know they used to do it. I've seen it. Why don't they do it for the pay-per-view literally named Great Balls of Fire? It just doesn't make sense. Alright, next we're going to talk about the singles match on the pre-show. Like, the literal only match. First of all, the main reasons for the pre-show, at least back when pay-per-views were bought individually, not on the network, were if you didn't have the pay-per-view, the pre-show was supposed to show you, one, what's to come, like promos, which it did, and also some matches to get you excited. And then they only had one match the whole thing. It was like an hour long.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to learn.
It's fine. I'll just keep. I'll cut it myself.
Let me take this out.
Yeah, I'll just cut when it's done. Okay. Anyway, sorry for that. One of the main. So why did the pre-show only have one match? They could have just put either another Divas match or another singles, even a tag team maybe. They could have put anything. Anything other than just the cruiserweights. And also it's really annoying how, for the most part, even at WrestleMania, the cruiserweights are the only one on pre-show. It makes no sense. Anyway, now that I'm done with that, let's talk about the actual match. Okay, I don't have a ton to talk about, so sorry this part is sort of short. Ironically, looking at the script I made, because I'm bad with memory, so I made a script for this. It's the longest thing I have. I don't know. Anyway, the first thing I want to talk about are the two competitors in the match. First, the champion going in. Neville. I think that he was and is still a great heel / bad guy, whatever you say. And he can play off a lot of people in the cruiserweight division, like T.J. Perkins. Jeez. Oh, God. I can't remember his name. Whatever. If it comes to mind, I'll say it. But he's good against people like that. He's also done well against Kalisto. And yeah. Sorry that was a little slow. I couldn't think of the guy's name. It was really stupid. It really bothered me. Next, the challenger, Akira Tozawa. I have seen before the pay-per-view. I have not seen very much before the pay-per-view. Just for the thing that I don't really watch Raw or SmackDown that much, even though it's summer and I can do that every night that it's on, but I don't really do that. The only thing I really knew about him was he was in the Titus brand, that thing that Titus O'Neil did, and is still doing. And I thought he had a good chance of winning, because I thought maybe Titus would distract or something. No. All he did was cheer him on and be practically useless. And then he dumped him right on the ropes, right in his nuts. And then kicked the ropes, so it was even more painful. And then when he got back up, he got him with a spinning back kick to win it. Now onto the main show and the opening match, which was really surprising that these two would play the opener. I thought it would probably be like Enzo or maybe even Miz versus Ambrose, but Bray Wyatt and Seth Rollins. Those two are not opener names. At least not nowadays. My memory of this match isn't the greatest. But from what I remember, both men played very well off each other, which makes sense. I mean, both are former world champions and also tag champs. Seth Rollins with Roman Reigns when they were in the Shield, and ironically, Bray Wyatt with Randy Orton back in December. Maybe it's October, I don't know, somewhere around there. And anyway, it worked well, especially when Bray smashed Rollins' face into the steel steps. That was amusing. Near the end, Wyatt got off a poke in the eye of Rollins. He poked Rollins in the eye, and finished it with his sister Abigail. Next up was the match between Enzo Amore and Big Cass. And I say match with quotation marks because it was only 5.5 minutes long and it was a whole squash match. Seriously, that thing is set for maybe Raw, but a pay-per-view that's not even the opening match. Really? No. It's just, it doesn't make sense. And also I was very disappointed because the build-up of the match showed Cass getting all the offense and Enzo being constantly beat up. So maybe I thought they would give, like, creative might give Enzo a little bit of offense. I mean, I expected him to lose, no doubt about that. But I was hoping maybe they'd let him get a little bit of damage to Cass, but nope. It's just a squash match. Something you'd see on Raw back in, like, 2011 between, like, someone like Mark Henry and, I don't know, some jobber I don't know that I can't think of the name of. So that was really disappointing. Next, my favorite match on the card, actually, was the Tag Team Iron Man match, which is coming up next. This match was filled with incredible tag team action, quick, agile moves and tags, and even some blood on the part of Matt Hardy, even though that was definitely not planned. So, hope you better now, Matt. Now that I think, I feel like I want to talk about all the blood that spilled now, but I'll talk about it for every match that there was some spilled. Anyway, also, that match started off with a bang. Like, the person decided they wanted to take a shower during the Iron Man match because they figured they would be done by the time that the match kept going. I figured the match would still be going by the time they were done. I don't know why he didn't just do it during the pre-show. But he came back, and he left. I remember he left. The match started. 20 seconds later, there was already a point on the board for Cesaro and Sheamus. So, yeah. Because Cesaro tricked Matt Hardy, and then he jumped out of the ring. Sheamus came in, brogue kicked Matt, and got a point right off the bat. And then after that, the match actually was pretty even for like the first 10 minutes or so. 15, I don't know. The champions, Cesaro and Sheamus, played a lot of defense. Tried to make sure that they would never lose a fall. Sorry about that. I moved the camera a tiny bit. And when they eventually did, they had to go back on offense. And in the end, it was a very energetic match until the very end. When Jeff pulled a dumb, he thought Sheamus was a legal man. Swanton on top of him, which, to be honest, it was cool. And then he was covered by... And then he got quickly rolled up by Cesaro. So, other than that, that was a really good match. I'll give ratings at the very end. Alright, probably my second or third favorite match on the whole card, the whole Great Balls of Fire card, was the women's match, for the women's title, the Raw women's title, between Alexa Bliss and Sasha Banks. This match was good. Alexa, man, somehow, like, when I think they're doing, like, an arm drag, Alexa double-jointed her arm. I don't know if that's the term. She made her arm look like she broke it. And when I saw that, I immediately looked away, because I thought she'd actually broken her arm. And, oh my god. And then she quickly tricked Sasha and got some hits off. Anyway, the match itself was enjoyable until, like, the very end, when Alexa just kind of gave up, and when she realized she probably wasn't going to win, she just accepted countout. So that was disappointing, but the match was good, also with some blood from Alexa, I believe. She was bleeding a little bit from the mouth, I want to say, but she was definitely bleeding. And especially after seeing Bayley challenge over and over and then losing. She lost over and over from normal matches on Raw to kendo stick on a pole matches in Extreme Rules. Why was that a thing? I just don't think that should have been a thing. And also, it was nice to see Sasha Banks go for it. Alright, the next match was Dean Ambrose versus The Miz for The Miz's Intercontinental Championship. The Miz had with him both his wife, Maryse, and the Miztourage, also known as the two jobbers known as Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. Side note, they screwed over Bo Dallas. In NXT, he was actually pretty good. Then he got thrown in the main roster and he became a jobber. It was so disappointing. Anyway, the match itself went well until the Miztourage kept distracting Dean and getting the Miz out of danger and out of moves. And also, Dean started bleeding as well. His mouth was bleeding. Seriously, the blood just kept going. And even in this next match too. I'd say the best singles match of the night, this one, was the ambulance match between Braun Strowman and Roman Reigns. To be honest, I expected Strowman to win. I was hoping Roman would do some damage, but I got what I expected. The match went off and on when it comes to how quick it went, especially when Roman when Braun tried to slam Roman into the LED light panel near where the entrance is, and instead Roman got off and shoved Braun into it instead, and then they just kept going, which looked really cool, because like you can see all the other panels like staticking because of it. There you go. I don't know if you guys can still see that. I doubt it. I probably screwed it up. Whatever. Don't care. Anyway, it was a good match until Roman lost, went berserk, threw Strowman in the ambulance, and attempted murder. Next is probably the worst match on the entire card. The 2-minute matchup between Heath Slater and Curtis Axel. Or Kurt Hawkins. So I had Axel in my mind from earlier. We have Heath Slater and Kurt Hawkins, both of which aren't kind of jobbers. Heath Slater has a tag championship behind him now, but still not that good. Anyway, when they tried to get Strowman out of the ambulance, they threw those two in an impromptu match. I'm proud of them for getting technically the second to last match on the card on a pay-per-view. So that's probably their best night ever, even though they're still jobbers pretty much. Anyway, that's all there's really to say about that. After the match, though, Strowman got out of the ambulance. They got him out using the Jaws of Life, using a fire department, and they had an ambulance ready to get him on a stretcher. They got him on the stretcher, and then he managed to get off the stretcher while bleeding out of like the side of his head. He just left. He didn't want any help. He refused it. And now, the second to last thing I'm going to talk about is the main event between Brock Lesnar and Samoa Joe for the Universal Championship, which Brock Lesnar has kept without having to fight whatsoever since WrestleMania. Seriously, he won that like April 2nd or 3rd. That pay-per-view came out in like mid-June to mid-July. It was so disappointing. Because they're basically doing the same thing they did in late 2014 when he won the title, I think, at SummerSlam, I want to say. I don't know, I don't remember. And then they kept the title on him until WrestleMania, and he got like 3 title defenses during that whole thing. It was really stupid. They really should have got him more defenses, made him look like a better champion. Anyway, the build-up for the match made it seem like Joe had a very good chance at winning. He put Brock Lesnar to his knees, he brought him down, he almost knocked him unconscious with his move that he does, his submission move. I don't remember what it's called. It's something clutch. I don't remember, I'm sorry about that. But he looked like he had Brock on the ropes, and then he lost. He should have won, kept the title on Raw, kept it defending, It was just stupid. I mean, he got in quite a bit of offense, but once Brock got in his usual suplexes, it was over for him. Brock retained again and is keeping his title until at very least SummerSlam in August, when he defends it against I have no idea. Now, finally, the final scores. First of all, I'm going to do it in each match in order, and then I'm finally going to give the pay-per-view itself the rating. Okay, the Cruiserweight match, except for the end, 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. It was good. Rollins vs. Wyatt, 6.5. End Zone Cast, 4 out of 10. Just because it was a squash match. Tag Team Iron Man, 8 out of 10. It was very fast-paced throughout. It was just really, I just enjoyed it. Favorite match on there, no doubt. The women's match, 7.5 out of 10. Just for how extreme and physical it got, showing how much the women's division has bettered itself over the last 2 years. Just the 2 years. We've gone from divas who barely wrestle 10-minute matches to women who can wrestle main eventing pay-per-views. That happened last year, but it may have happened this year, I don't remember. But even if they're in the mid-card, they're definitely showing a lot better. So, 7.5 out of 10. Miz vs. Ambrose, 5 out of 10, just because of how many times the Miz Taraj came into play. It was stupid. Miz always finds a way to escape with his title. I mean, I appreciate how much of a bad guy he can be, but when it comes to like either getting his wife or like his two buddies to save him, it just gets stupid. The Strowman vs. Reigns match, 6 out of 10 for how extreme it got. When he threw him through the light panel, when he did a lot of stuff in the ambulance, they threw him into it, threw him on the floor from the top of the stage. And also on the final bit where Roman almost killed Braun. So that was alright. Heath Slater vs. Kurt Hawkins, 3 out of 10. It was just disappointing. Any match that's impromptu is getting a 5 or less. 5 is the best an impromptu match will get from me. And even the fact that impromptu matches still exist in the WWE in 2017. It's just disappointing. Anyway, the main event got a good 6.5 because it was enjoyable. It actually looked like Joe had a chance until Brock came back and won it, which usually happens. The final pay-per-view count will be 6.5 out of 10. Anyway, guys, that's it for this video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to USBC Wrestling and USBC Gaming, which is me and B's main channel. So, anyway, hope you enjoyed.